The leather is warm, not from the room, from your own skin. The wrapped grip of your sword has rested across your ribs since the door closed behind you last night. You do not know which wing of the palace you are in. Your eyes are closed. You are not asleep. On the other side of an embroidered curtain, the emperor is breathing. This is the inner guard of Chandragupta Maurya in Pataliputra, 305 before the Common Era. By the time the sun sets, a Greek-speaking envoy will walk out of this palace alive. Your sword will not have left its scabbard, and you will sleep tonight in a room whose location no one has told you yet. You are not a courtesan. You are a soldier. Everything you have been told about this day is incomplete. Today, we decode the real one. In 305 before the Common Era, two rivers meet on the flat plain of the Ganges Valley. The sun flows in from the south. The Ganges runs from the west. Where they join stands a city. Its name is Pataliputra. This year, its emperor signed a peace treaty with Seleucus Nicator, one of Alexander the Great's generals. The treaty ended a war. The Mauryans kept the passes into Afghanistan. The Greeks left with 500 war elephants. Roughly 400,000 people live inside Pataliputra's walls. It is, by modern population estimates, the largest city on the planet. Alexandria has not caught up. Babylon has fallen behind. Inside the palace complex, in corridors of red sandstone and lacquered wood, 200 armed women serve the emperor. The surviving records name them the Antarvamshika, the inner guard. They come from warrior families in vassal kingdoms across the emperor's territory. They will not marry. They will not leave. Beyond the walls, 3,000 war elephants stand in the royal stables. 500 are gone. Chandragupta sent them west last year as the price of the treaty. In 3 years, a Greek ambassador named Megasthenes will come to this palace from Seleucus's court. He will live here and write down what he sees. And in one of the inner antechambers of that palace, a woman with a sword across her body is opening her eyes. You open your eyes. The oil lamp in the corner is a thumb of guttering flame. Outside the antechamber, the corridor smells of sandalwood. Someone has been burning incense in the walls since before you woke. You sit up, you buckle the sword to your hip. You do not undress because you never undressed. The corridor is red sandstone. Your feet find it cool through your soles. The air is thick with smoke and the sharper green smell of crushed cardamom coming from the kitchens. Someone has left a brass bowl of kheer on a low shelf outside the antechamber door. Rice, milk, cardamom, a spoonful of ghee, a scatter of pistachio dust. You eat it standing. The cardamom is sharp against the roof of your mouth. The ghee is warm. Neither lasts. You do not sit down. There is no chair, and there would be no time to use one if there was. You do this in 7 minutes. You do this every morning of your working life. Down the corridor, the day captain is waiting. She is perhaps 40 years old. There is a raised scar across her left cheekbone. She got it before Chandragupta was emperor. She has served him ever since. She knows every corridor of this palace and every guard who walks them, and each morning she decides who walks where. She looks at you. She takes in the sword at your hip, the cotton of your tunic, the tightness of your hair. She does not speak. She does not need to. The day captain hands you the assignment. Today, you walk 4 paces behind the emperor. Every room, every meal, every audience, including the one this afternoon, with a man who has come from the west. The corridor smells no longer of sandalwood. It smells of the palace itself, of red sandstone and lacquered wood and the faint animal warmth of leather. You walk. The emperor walks ahead. 4 paces, never 3, never 5. Your feet are bare on the polished stone. The sandstone is cool against the arches, and the coolness is the only thing that stays constant as the walls shift color around you. Somewhere beyond the outer wall, an elephant trumpets. You hear it as a low seam of sound through the corridor. It is the same sound in every wing of this palace. You will hear it perhaps 40 times before the day is done. The emperor stops in an alcove. A minister approaches, bows, begins to speak. You stand 3 paces away, sword at your hip. You do not watch the minister's face. You watch his hands. At midday, the emperor sits to eat. A brass tray of 6 dishes is set before him. To his left stands the paricharaka, the food taster. He is perhaps 55 years old. He has done this work for 18 years. He raises a spoon of each dish to his own mouth first. He no longer flinches. You watch the taster. An hour later, the emperor walks to the elephant stables. 3,000 animals stand in ranks, their leg bands catching low light through the high slats. He speaks with the master of elephants. You walk the perimeter. You are not standing at a door. You are moving through the palace with him, a piece of the architecture that shifts with the body it is built around. And then the envoy arrives. He has come from the court of Seleucus in Babylon. He carries a sealed scroll. He is not searched at the gate. He is brought directly to the audience hall. Still with me? Good. You're about to watch a Seleucid envoy walk into the emperor's throne room. Most of you expect this to end in blood. It doesn't. And the reason it doesn't is the same reason the woman standing 4 paces behind that emperor got erased from the history books and replaced with a fantasy. In a few minutes, I'll give her back to you. Subscribe to Decoded by Jack. Stay with me. The audience hall opens onto a courtyard the size of a small market. The air pressure has been falling for hours. Somewhere over the plain to the west, a storm is building that will not reach Pataliputra for another week. You can smell it. The pre-monsoon ozone catches in the roof of your mouth. Your skin is tight against your temples. The emperor sits on the raised platform. You stand 4 paces behind his left shoulder. Your hand rests on the pommel of your sword. Your hand does not move. The envoy is brought to the threshold. He is a tall man in dust-dark travel robes. He is permitted 12 paces. This is closer than any foreigner has been to the emperor in 4 months. He walks the 12 paces. His feet make no sound on the stone. You count them. At the 7th pace, you stop breathing. Not for effect, because that is what your body does when the distance closes. You will start again at the 10th pace, and by then he will be standing still. He kneels. He presents the sealed scroll on both open palms. The emperor takes it. The emperor does not break eye contact with the envoy while he takes it. A brass cup of water is offered to the envoy as guest. The food taster has already sampled it. The envoy drinks. He asks for trade routes. Nothing more. He bows out. Your hand has not moved from the pommel. The envoy walks out. The scroll is unrolled and read by the chief minister. There is no hidden message. The intelligence was wrong. The sword has not left its scabbard. And the day is not over. The sun is setting somewhere behind the palace. You do not see it directly. What you see is what it does to the walls. A slab of saffron light cuts through a high window and lays itself flat across the red sandstone at your feet. The color moves as you move. It fades as you watch. A different officer approaches you. Not the day captain, not anyone you recognize. He tells you where you will sleep tonight. He does not tell you the route. He walks, you follow. The corridors he takes are corridors you have not walked before. You commit them to memory anyway. Left, right, 20 paces. A staircase you did not know was here. He stops at an antechamber. There is a low wooden cot. a brass cup of water on a small shelf, a single lamp already lit. You drink the water standing. It is cool. It tastes of nothing. You know the emperor will be brought to the room next to this one within the hour. He will come by a different corridor. You will not see him arrive. You lie down on the cot. You lay the sword across your body. The leather is already warming under your hand. You do not undress. The lamp burns low. That is the day. Now, let me tell you 3 things almost no Anglophone viewer of this video has been told about what you just watched. Decoded number 1. A Greek ambassador lived here and wrote it down. Most Anglophone histories will tell you ancient India left almost no eyewitness record. Everything filters through later Buddhist and Hindu tradition. They're wrong. In 302 before the Common Era, 3 years after the day you just watched, a Greek ambassador named Megasthenes arrived at this palace. Seleucus sent him. Megasthenes lived at Chandragupta's court for years and wrote a 4-volume book about what he saw. It was called Indika. The original is lost. Long passages survive in Strabo's Geography, Book 15, in Arrian's Indika, in Pliny's Natural History. Megasthenes described the armed women of the inner guard, in the bedroom, on the hunt, at court. That Greek testimony is 2 centuries older than the Buddhist Pali Canon. Ancient India isn't poorly documented, you just haven't been invited to read the documentation. Decoded number 2. Rome's paranoid emperors came 300 years later. Here's what you probably picture when you hear ancient court intrigue. A Roman emperor at a banquet, pale with paranoia. A tyrant with a food taster and a hidden dagger. This is medieval and Roman iconography, and it comes 300 years after what you just watched. The palace security you just saw isn't atmosphere. It's engineering. It's codified in a text called the Arthashastra, written by Chandragupta's chief advisor, Kautilya. Books 1 and 5 prescribe every protocol you observe today. Rotating sleeping chambers, food testers before every dish, secret passages in palace walls, female bodyguards, chosen because, the text argues, they were less corruptible, body doubles for public appearances, a network of undercover agents watching every official. Augustus didn't have this system. Tiberius would have recognized it. Kautilya wrote it down first. Decoded. Number 3. The Poison Girl was a story invented 1,000 years later. Now the last one, and this is the one that matters most. Somewhere in the last few decades, you probably heard the phrase poison girl. Maybe it was a video game, maybe a novel, maybe a late-night documentary about ancient India's secret female assassins. The story is always some version of this. A young woman raised from childhood on graduated doses of poison. Her body itself becomes the weapon. The Sanskrit name for her is Vishakanya, poison maiden. Here's the thing. She doesn't appear in a single source contemporary with Chandragupta. Not one. Megasthenes doesn't describe her. Kautilya doesn't describe her. No Greek writer, no Mauryan writer, no source anywhere close to the day you just watched describes her. The Vishakanya first shows up in Bana's Arthashastra, a Sanskrit prose romance from the 7th century of the Common Era. She reappears in a play called the Mudra Rakshasa. Later, she becomes stock inventory in Persian and Islamic era literary tradition. From there, she travels into modern novels, games, and Western pop history. That is the entire ancestry of the Poison Girl myth. The actual women in this palace carried swords. They trained in bow and unarmed combat. They defended an emperor in a security system a Roman would not equal for 3 centuries. The fantasy replaced them. The reality is better. You are lying on the cot in a room you cannot place. Your back is on the low wood. The iron of the sword is a line of weight across your ribs. The leather grip is already the temperature of your hand. Somewhere within these walls, the emperor is being led to a chamber whose door you have not seen. Somewhere within these walls, you will sleep tomorrow night, and you do not know where. You close your eyes. You do not sleep deeply. The lamp burns down to a thumb of wick. 23 centuries from now, her name will not be in any source. The emperor she guards tonight will be remembered as the founder of an empire that ruled most of the Indian subcontinent. The Greek ambassador who described her will be remembered in fragments, preserved by writers writing about other things. The sword in her hand is iron. It will rust. The system that put her in this room will be copied 3 centuries later in Rome. The rotation, the taster, the 4 paces, the unnamed antechamber, the Romans will think they invented all of it. They did not.